Dear viewers, you welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babler Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, bikers take to the streets in the northwest regional capital, Bamenda, demanding for the unconditional release of motorcycles of their peers seized and impounded by law enforcement officers. They hit the streets of Bamenda today, and the Ministry of Public Health rejects COVID-19 aid from one of the leading opposition political leaders in the Republic of Cameroon, Professor Maurice Kamto, national president of the CRM, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party. We shall be giving you details in this newscast. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the news on Equinoxe Television. We're going to begin right away in the northwest regional chief town, Bamenda, where commercial motorbike riders hit last security meeting in the town of Bamenda. The Minister of Territorial Administration at Tanganji Paul instructed that all commercial bikes should be painted yellow and bikers should have a jacket, insurance and a driver's license. And with regards to this instruction from Minister Tanganji Paul, several motorbikes were seized for not having these documents and for failing to respect the administrative instructions they pledged to respect. And the bikers who took to the streets today in the town of Bamenda through the voice of their leader, that is the president of the Reformed Bike Riders Association in the town of Bamenda, said, I quote, "We are all humans. We need to feed our families. We are tired of kidnapping and killings perpetrated by people claiming to be bike riders." And the bikers pledged to respect all the instructions of the Republic, but in turn demand to be respected, notably by law enforcement officers. The president sent a strong message, that is the president of the Reform Bike Riders Association sent a strong message to the administrative authorities, notably the security forces, to stop harassing them while they play or they go about their daily duty. And the to calm the commercial motorbike riders, some council authorities were at City Kemis roundabout today, notably the city mayor of Bamenda and of course the mayor of the Bamenda 2 municipality. And the city mayor reassured the bikers that their bikes will be handed back, but they have to respect the administrative instructions. And that is what happened in the town of Bamenda today. Coming up, our Northwest correspondent Stella takes us to some of the localities in the crisis-hit Anglophone regions where the population are highly exposed to a possible COVID-19 explosion.
Okitunjo Division. A liter of petrol is sold here at 1,000 francs CFA. This is the price the population is paying as the Anglophone crisis drags on. Goods have become more expensive as most roads had not been in use until 2 weeks ago. At the time, the country is fighting the spread of the coronavirus. Owning a face mask or hand sanitizer is regarded as a luxury in Bangolan.
I was speaking to the Gaby. No place, no day when they decide.
Help center. A bouncer be done divide time for we for you. I see the one be done over small stuff.
Quand nous sommes arrivés, nous avons constaté que beaucoup parmi eux n'arboraient pas de masque. Et puis, les mesures telles qu'étaient prescrites par le chef de l'État, se laver les mains et la distanciation n'étaient pas respectées ici. Alors nous sommes venus d'abord, nous avons commencé d'abord par sensibiliser et leur dire quel impact cette maladie a dans notre société. Bien qu'ils vivent dans les milieux reculés, ils doivent être conformes à ceci.
Within the framework of their missions aimed at integrating the population in their activities, the 3rd Rapid Intervention Battalion, under the command of Major Hop Bear, carried out desensitization and distribution of 180 tap buckets, 46 cartons of soap, 42 liters of detergent, and 850 face masks to the population of Bangulan and Dop in a bid to fight the spread of the coronavirus.
For this specific instance, the whole country is bracing to fight COVID-19. So we're joining into the fight to assist our fellow citizens in remote places that have yet to receive some equipment. We are doing the same for our soldier, and we just would like to extend the same to our fellow citizens, for which we care very much. We expect those populations to trust us because we're out there. Our whole reason to be there is for their well-being.
The coronavirus pandemic is not the only Ngokitunja division is facing. The Anglophone crisis has also had its effect on all, including Mr. Kwetong Henderson, Senior Divisional Officer from Ngokitunja, who has not stepped foot in Bangulan since October 2019 when he took over.
It has offered me another opportunity to come to the grassroots of Ngokitunja, right at Bangulan. We have a lot of separatists who come here from time to time, and we made it very clear to the community that coronavirus does not have a friend. Even those who are in the bushes should heed to the head of state's advice to lay down their guns, come out of the bushes, and let us face the common enemy.
These measures being preached in these communities are also practiced at the various camps by the soldiers, as prevention has always been better than cure.
In the same vein, elements of the 6th Rapid Intervention Battalion Regiment in the southwest region of Cameroon, headed by Lieutenant Colonel Ella Francis, have urged the population of Mbonge to unite with them in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic and separatist activities. And the elements of the Rapid Intervention Battalion went to give some aid to the population of Mbonge in order to help in the fight against COVID-19. Innocent as a report.
People from the crisis-torn region sitting at least a meter from each other. They are inhabitants from 4 villages making up Mbonge subdivision in the southwest region. Though in hardship, they have not been forgotten, even at this time of another crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic. They have been brought out of their homes by elements of the 6th Regiment of the Rapid Intervention Battalion in the southwest region to receive with soft heart these material gifts, including tap buckets, cartons of soap, face masks, hand sanitizers, and many more as weapons against the virus.
I don't be affected again by the corona. We just thank the government and the military where they really give with this assistance for our village. In fact, we'll be very happy.
The military has to join the same fight to come to support the population. That's why we came with some items to help them follow the instructions that have been given by the government in order to prevent themselves from letting the coronavirus enter the village. We made everything today in this event to respect the social distances. That's why you saw people sitting 1 meter from others, from their neighbors.
The divisional officer from Mbonge and the Chief Daniel Mata Mokambe, mayor of the municipality, urged the population to make good use of the hygiene kits and respect barrier measures put in place by the government in order not to be victims of the coronavirus.
I don't want to have to come here to carry to quarantine or to carry some patients or some people who contracted the coronavirus. To try to help us to fight against the disease in Mbonge.
Now keep ourselves more than 1 meter away from each other.
On the part of the bees, still, they are not in Mbonge for war, but for peace and living together.
Even when the situation of security was very bad for everybody, you have always be standing ready to collaborate with the government, with the administration, and with the social forces, and with the defense forces to fight against that enemy, that common enemy that we have together. You know what I'm talking about.
Locals of the 4 villages making up Mbonge subdivision implored for basic social amenities, including passable roads, electricity, ensure return of peace for their children to resume school after the coronavirus, and for them to regain their farms.
The Rapid Intervention Battalion is for peace and not for war, says the 6th Rapid Intervention Battalion Regiment in the southwest region of Cameroon, headed by Lieutenant Colonel Ela during their visit to Mbonge subdivision. And still in the southwest region of the country, President Paul Biya's COVID-19 aid is now being channeled to the different subdivisions of that part of the country. The governor of the region, Benau Kalebilai, received the consignment of anti-COVID-19 material from Yaoundé in Boya and distributed to the divisional senior divisional officers, who will in turn channel them to the subdivisional levels for the gifts to be distributed to the population. Derek Jato reports.
The Southwest Governor Bernardo Kaliabilai is handing over President Paul Biya's gifts to the senior divisional officers and divisional officers of the Southwest region before the members of the Civil Protection Unit of the Ministry of Territorial Administration, and they have 72 hours to deliver.
In the next 72 hours, all those gifts should be distributed to the grassroots population for them to acquire means to fight the coronavirus.
The content are soap, hand sanitizers and buckets.
From the instruction of the governor and the minister, we will be able to start distributing this afternoon in Limbetu subdivision.
They should expect the distribution of these gifts from the head of state. It's not every day that we'll receive something from the head of state. So they should be excited to come and get their share.
And Abba Abdurrahman, divisional officer for Boya, the Southwest Regional Capital, took the lead and launched the distribution campaign.
All the people involved are here. We are going to work so that we make sure within the time frame the distribution is done and that it gets to the grassroots population.
Right to hygienic situations.
Mrs. Nana Abono Marie, Administrator General of Prisons, now on retirement, while appreciating President Paul Biya's goodwill gesture, also pleaded with the authorities on the field not to forget about those in prisons.
I am making a fervent appeal to the senior divisional officers that they should not forget those who are incarcerated in the penitentiary establishment of their areas of command, that is the prisons.
This former Administrator General of Prisons today runs a non-governmental organization known as Justice and Equity Prison Fellowship Cameroon. Her organization, which has been contributing in the fight against COVID-19 in Boya, Kumba and Manfi prisons, says the inmates in these detention centers are vulnerable.
We will realize that you have some inmates there who have never had visits, who have never had even a tablet of soap, and we are really having a horrible, unhygienic situation in the prisons.
Reason why she is begging for her plea to be considered for the donor. President Paul Biya also had even those in prisons at heart before carrying out his humanitarian gesture.
The Rijato reporting from the southwest regional capital Boya, now to the northwest region of the country, where the presidential COVID-19 It is also being dispatched to the different subdivisions to be handed over to the population. Northwest authorities, administrative authorities, received the consignment of the region at the regional headquarters, Bamenda, and our correspondent Stella was there, and she filed in this report.
At the premises of the Northwest Governor's Office, 4 trucks are welcomed by the Secretary General Viang Mekala and some heads of services. They are transporting the Northwest region's share of materials to fight the coronavirus out of President Paul Biya's $2 billion aid for the purpose nationwide.
It is with a lot of joy and a lot of enthusiasm that we have received. We have just received the assistance of the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, for the Northwest region, for the entire population of the Northwest region.
The Northwest region has recorded 5 cases of the coronavirus, according to Dr. Cheso Kingsley, Regional Delegate for Public Health, speaking during a press conference on April 25, 2020. Since then, no case has been confirmed, but these figures may increase if sanitary measures are ignored.
Our region has already recorded since last week confirmed cases of COVID-19. It is an occasion for us to urge them and to tell them that coronavirus in our region is a reality. It is not a joke, and it will take a serious measure to protect themselves and to protect the rest of the society against that pandemic.
With a population of about 2 million inhabitants, the Northwest region benefits 1,870 cartons of soap, 30,600 liters of hand sanitizers, 6,800 buckets, and 34,000 face masks. Observers say the head of state's gesture is a step in the right direction in the fight against the spread of the coronavirus, but insists the gifts might not serve 1/3 of the population. In the days ahead, all 34 subdivisions that make up the region will be served for distribution.
The Ministry of Public Health receives aid from abroad to fight against COVID-19, aid from China, from the Chinese billionaire Jack Ma, but rejects gifts from within, coming from authorities, politicians from within the national territory. The Ministry of Public Health yesterday rejected a gift from an initiative set up by the Cameroon Renaissance Movement CRM political party. Professor Maurice Kamto and other leaders of the party were embarrassed by the rejection of the COVID-19 gift by the Minister of Public Health of Cameroon, Dr. Manauda Malachi. For me, Armstrong Sander has the details.
A disappointed Christian Penda Ekoka as he left out of the Ministry of Public Health in Yaoundé, Cameroon. The president of the program Suivi Cameroon Survival Initiative says the gift of medical equipment he brought for the government of Cameroon in the fight against COVID-19 have been rejected by the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manauda Malachi.
Ministre était bien dans son bureau.
Christian Pendaikuka regrets that the materials destined for health officials and victims of COVID-19 should be rejected by a health minister who at the same time could be seen receiving similar materials and equipment from foreigners and other non-nationals. Ekoka, who was accompanied by some close aides, said they verified and confirmed the minister was present in his office but could neither grant them audience nor receive goods for reasons best known to the minister alone. The goods comprised 10,000 face masks, 6,800 specialized masks for medical officials in the fight against COVID-19, and 950 COVID-19 test kits offered by Professor Maurice Kamto, national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party, as part of his personal contribution to the Suivi Cameroon Survival Initiative fight against COVID-19. The leader of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party said the goods were his contribution to the fight against COVID-19 as a citizen of Cameroon, Maurice Kamto. Christian Pendaikoka on his part said he chose to hand over the goods to the Minister of Public Health because the goods were medical equipment and not goods meant for the general public. Shortly after the departure of Christian Pendaikoka, Dr. Manahuda Malashi addressed the leader through a correspondent to get to the Ministry of Territorial Administration for certain proceedings and the eventual donation of the goods from the Suivi Cameroun Survival Initiative for the fight against COVID-19.
The Suivi Cameroun Survival Initiative, put in place by the Cameroon Renaissance Movement (CRM) political party to help in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic in the Republic of Cameroon, was described by the Minister of Territorial Administration Atanganji Paul as illegal because the authorities of the CRM political party did not seek for authorization from his ministry as requested by the law, and the Minister of Territorial Administration put an end, asked that the initiative should be terminated, and even the bank account that is said to have been created, the minister asked the Minister of Finance, Minister Tanganji Paul asked the Minister of Finance to close that bank account on grounds that that initiative was illegal. And of course the Minister of Public Health asked the authorities of the CRM political party to go through the Minister of Territorial Administration in order to bring the anti-COVID-19 gift. And Christian Pendaikoka, the president of the organizing committee of that initiative, an ally of Professor Maurice Kamto and the CRM political party, talked to our reporters in Yaoundé, and this is an extract of what he said. We shall be coming back to that in subsequent news editions. Time for us to talk about the decision taken by the Yaoundé administration to lift some of the anti-COVID-19 restrictions earlier imposed, and shortly after the restrictions, notably on the functioning of bars and other entertainment sites after 6 p.m. and there has been a widespread celebration in major hotspots in some towns of Cameroon, and in Ezeka there was celebration yesterday, and people took to the streets, to the bars, drinking and celebrating over the restriction that was lifted, and now bars are operating beyond 6 p.m. on grounds that they respect all the sanitation rules of the World Health Organization against the COVID-19 pandemic. Immaculate Fogwe reports.
Business activities have regained steam in Ezeka, Nyonankele Division, Central Region of Cameroon. Beer parlors, snack bars, and other leisure centers are now inundated with customers. The steam comes up few hours after the government withdrew the decision for bars, restaurants, and leisure facilities to close at 6 p.m. Business operators of the area have expressed a sigh of relief following the new measure announced by the Prime Minister, Chief Joseph Tiangute.
Je suis tellement satisfait de cette nouvelle qui est tombée à 17h.
I am very satisfied with the news. I am in one of those domains which had been greatly affected by the 6 p.m. curfew. The timing was not convenient for us because it is from 6 p.m. that we start receiving our customers. We have taxes to pay. We are thanking the head of state for uplifting the curfew. The economy had been greatly affected. We have families that are depending on us. Bar owners promise that they won't take the decision for granted, as they will continue respecting the anti-COVID-19 measures taken by the government of Cameroon. According to the head of state, Paul Biya, the flexibility and support measures is meant to relieve the sector that has been badly hit. To some Cameroonians, the decision is not wise. They think opening bars, leisure centers, and restaurants will rather expose Cameroonians to the coronavirus pandemic.
And the senior divisional officer of the Manual Division in this west region of Cameroon has prohibited the transportation of any COVID-19 related corpse into his area of command, and he says that all persons who will be caught transporting any COVID-19 related corpse into the division will be cast out of his area of command, and sanctions could follow. And the senior divisional officer has urged the population of the Manual Division to bury their relatives who die of COVID-19 where they actually gave up the ghost anywhere around the country. This is contained in a press statement issued by the senior divisional officer of the Manual Division in the west region of the country. Now, out of Cameroon, a study suggests coronavirus patients from black African backgrounds in England and Wales are dying at more than triple the rate of white Britons. The Institute for Fiscal Studies said a higher proportion of people from ethnic minority backgrounds live in areas hit harder by COVID-19, and however, they tend to be young on average, so should be less vulnerable. But the report found various black, Asian and minority ethnic groups were experiencing higher per capita death. And after accounting for difference in age, sex and geography, the study estimates that the death rate for people of black African origin was 3.5 times higher than for white Britons. It added that people of black Caribbean heritage per capita death were 1.7 times higher, rising to 2.7 times higher for those with Pakistan origin. And a study says that most minority ethnic groups are dying in excess numbers in hospitals. Professor Kevin Fonton, Regional Director for London at Public Health England, is currently leading a government review into the issue. Now we're talking something else, and we are taking you to the east region of the country, and we're talking about the rehabilitation of roads in some parts of the regional chief town, and inhabitants saying that they are going to be saved from dust and other problems that are linked to the poor state of roads in that part of the country's Manjik and Gabriel has more.
After several years of delays, the tarring of major roads in Betua, chief town of the East region, has started. The temporary stoppage of the phase for the roller compacted concrete was due to the breakdown of the machine used for that purpose. We did the first 3 kilometers at the Colbicon quarters in 3 different roads, and as we started where we are now, it is road number 33 at the Inyangaza quarter. We had a problem with one of our machines. It was difficult for us to walk.
Le PV mixeur qui est chargé de faire la couche, et ça n'a pas été facile de se remettre au travail.
After the Colbicon neighborhood, the Tikaza and Yanganza quarter was the next stopover for the road construction company. The inhabitants will breathe a sigh of relief from dust.
C'était un rêve. Maintenant, le rêve est devenu réalité.
It's a dream come true. My people never thought that one day the Nyangaza quarter will be tarred.
De la brousse. Mais voilà, nous sommes maintenant en ville comme tous les autres.
The road construction company has been faced with a major problem, which is the return of the rainy season, which might cause another delay.
Ça a toujours été un souci pour les entreprises.
The return of the rainy season is always a major hindrance to many road construction companies. But we have no choice than to walk. But if it starts, we shall automatically stop. The good thing concern in Betua is that the rain doesn't last for long.
C'est le cas dans la ville de Douala où il peut pleuvoir pendant 3-4 jours.
Even though the roads will soon be operational, the population is already questioning about the quality of the tar, notwithstanding the worries raised by the inhabitants of Betua. Whenever the construction works of these major roads within Betua will be over, the newly tarred roads will give a different face value to the town of Betua in the East region.
And we wrap up this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television with an extract of Donald Trump's declaration on the COVID-19 pandemic. The U.S. president continues accusing China to be the sole responsible authority over the Chinese or the coronavirus pandemic. The U.S. President Donald Trump thinks that the coronavirus came from a lab in China's commercial hub, Wuhan. Take a listen.
Yeah, we have people looking at it very, very strongly. Scientific people, intelligence people, and others.
And what gives
we're going to put it all together. I think we're going to have a very good answer eventually.
And what gives you
China might even tell us. China may tell us.
And what gives you a high degree of confidence that this originated from the Wuhan Institute of Virology?
I can't tell you that. I'm not allowed to tell you that.
Mr. President.
Edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thanks for staying with us. Goodbye.